So I've officially clocked over 35 hours in Jedi Survivor. I got the Platinum Trophy on PS5. I've jumped into New Game Plus, running around with my red lightsaber now. Can't get enough of the combat, love how smooth the traversal is, and I just really enjoy being in the game. Of course, on PS5 still has a few performance issues, really on console, and it's abysmal on PC as well, which is unfortunate. But in spite of those hiccups, I'm still really enjoying the game. If you haven't heard my review, it's linked in the description and on the end screen of this video. But overall, I really do love the game in spite of a few issues, and I think it's a great sequel to Fallen Order. That being said, after all my time spent with the game, I think there are 5 specific updates I'd love to see come to the game in the form of DLC that would make it even more interesting going forward. The first thing I'd like to see is some form of a battle arena that sends waves of enemies at you that awards you new cosmetics depending on which waves you complete. And it can be either preset, or maybe it'd be cool if you could customize the waves that come at you. For example, if you want to fight 40 of those chicken enemies or those turkeys that charge you, that could be fun. If you want to fight 4 rancors or every massive beast in the game at one time without breaking the game, of course, that could be cool. Maybe you can combine main bosses in the game if you want to fight 2 of the main bosses at once, or mix and match Empire, Bedlam Raiders, droids, and all sorts of enemies. It just really presents you with really interesting, unique, and almost overwhelming combat challenges that award you new cosmetics for defeating them. And it could either take place on an existing planet or within that Force realm where you complete all the Force tears. And the Force tears themselves present you with the combat challenges I sort of have in mind, but I think it'd be cool if it was almost tournament-based or wave-based. Similar to how Holo Tactics feels, where it's a game you're completing and you get rewards for completing it. And a few new cosmetics I'd really like to see is a very traditional prequel-era Jedi robe that's long and flowy and gives you the option to put the hood on and off. Doesn't really matter that much in the game because there's a lot of cool cosmetics already, but I've always wanted to see that in both Fallen Order and now Survivor. We don't have it yet, but I would love to see that included. I'd also like to see a hilt similar to Dooku's that has the curve to it. That'd be a cool lightsaber piece. And maybe a few more classic costumes from famous characters throughout all the movies. For example, Luke Skywalker's all-black get-up in Return of the Jedi, maybe Anakin's from Revenge of the Sith, and maybe throw in some Beskar Mandalorian-type armor for fun. I'd also love to have the option to switch between all 5 stances at once. Even if it needs its own separate mode to do that, I would love to be able to switch between cross-guard, dual-wield, double-bladed, single, just at will, freely, and just go to town on a bunch of stormtroopers or a bunch of different enemies. I think it'd complement the battle arena idea as well. And after completing the game, I really don't have a problem being limited to 2 at a time, but it would be fun just to have a single mode where you can just go to town with all 5 at once. It'd be sick. And speaking of combat, I'd love if the Respawn animators would just have some fun creating even more finishers for all the lightsaber stances, because there are several for each that are so brutal and fun to watch every time. And I think it'd be really cool to have more of them. CD Projekt Red, for example, added more finishing animations to Geralt and The Witcher 3, for example. So it'd be cool if Respawn kind of took some inspiration from that and added even more brutal animations to Cal's finishers. And lastly, I'd love to see a new massive planet to explore. Of course, Kobo's already struggling as is. Jed is a little bit better, but it'd be cool to have another Kobo-sized planet as DLC that comes a year from now, 6 months from now, however much time Respawn needs in the midst of trying to fix the current game. I'd love to see a massive lava like Mustafar-style planet or a Hoth-style planet that's purely snow to run around and find a bunch of new collectibles, maybe a new enemy type that we haven't seen. Because I still love playing the game we have, I've exhausted every nook and cranny of it, so I'd love to have a new planet to explore before the 3rd game comes around, which will at least be a few years. So I know Respawn's got a lot going on already. It goes without saying that the game needs to be fixed on all platforms to perform much better, but underneath all of that, it really is a truly great game that I've really enjoyed, and these updates are not remotely necessary, but I think they could be fun things to add to increase the longevity of the game's life cycle. But that's all I've got for today. If you're playing Jedi Survivor, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I always respond to comments and make these videos because I like having the conversations. Any new ideas you'd like to see, of course, beyond fixing the performance that you think would be cool in the game, please let me know. I'd love to hear that as well. And as always, stay tuned to COD Connected for more content like this.